What is good, my friends? This is the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides, Mark Ryan and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate, rolling on until 7 p.m. today. Can I get an amen? All sorts of fired up, pumped up to be here today, be back. I do apologize about not being able to be here yesterday. You guys know, if you've been listening to the show for like the last week, had a sinus infection, woke up yesterday morning, knew I wasn't trending in the right direction, knew the treatment plan that they were using wasn't really working, and wanted to get myself going back on the right side of the ledger, moving towards life, not moving towards 6 feet under, and happy to be back here with you guys today. New treatment, doing a bit better, all of that good stuff. Fantastic to have you guys with us, man. 844-FAN-PHONE is the number. That's 844-FAN-FONE. That's 844-326-3663. The text line is there for you at 71307. Just start your text with the word fan, and away you go on the show. Coming up on the show today, I didn't grow up with it, but I am loving it. The reports out of the NFL draft are the Carolina Panthers are coming to their senses. I'm pleasantly surprised about this, although I don't trust it. I will tell you what I mean by that. We debut a new segment at 3:40 we're calling Local Tap. We'll tell you what that's all about. We've got Brent Beer joining us at 4 o'clock today. We've got the all-time starting five coming up. My all-time NBA starting five. Who would be in my all-time NBA starting five? I'll share that with you over the course of the show today. I did a little market research when I was out sick yesterday. I get to listen to things that are on when we're on that I don't normally get to listen to because we're on the air. And I'll let you know what I found on that. Our media mock draft continues, and we have you here on the most interactive sports radio show anywhere. Folks, do you remember when I moved here? When I moved here, I said to you, I was laughing all the time, and I said, there's no traffic here. You guys are so cute at this age. There's no traffic here, ladies and gentlemen. Traffic is not a 20-minute drive that usually takes 12 minutes, but today it takes 20. That is not traffic. Traffic is when you can't move. Okay, traffic takes you 2 hours to go 6 miles. Well, I recently moved in with my wife and our son, and I moved literally just across the street from where I was before. And when I moved here in 2019, the GPS said 8 minutes. Okay, so I just literally moved across the street from where I lived in moved in 2019. Today, living just across the street from there, I left my place at 2:36 p.m. And I struggled to make it here on time. I was giving Diesel updates, just like the weather. 60% chance, Diesel, 60% chance. And it's unbelievable. And it's getting to an unhealthy level. And I don't know how often you guys experience this, but when there's a green light that you can't go through, Diesel,
yeah,
that's a freaking problem.
Yeah.
That's a college town level of traffic, and it's a bloody nightmare. And there's nothing more frustrating than Diesel, I can see the tower and I can see the building, and it's 2:49.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm in danger of missing it because I can't move.
Dude, I deal with that every single day. I have to cross Woodruff Road from Miller to Garlington. These dum-dums who are turning left onto Woodruff Road don't understand that if you can't get through the light all the way, don't go through the light at all. And they block it up every single time. And you know what? It happens every single day. And that used to be the quick way for me to get to work. That was the foolproof way for me to get to work. Now my foolproof way is, it's just the fool's way to try to get to work. It is infuriating. And look, I don't know if you've noticed, they're hooking up traffic monitoring towers on the street light hangers. If you're seeing these things all up and down Woodruff Road, that's what those are. They are traffic monitoring. And I don't know, I might be responsible for that. I know I called the Greenville City Police like 3 or 4 times about that. And the problem they tell me is like, well, if you're on this corner, if you're on the northeast corner, it's Greenville City. If you're on the southeast corner, it's Greenville County. If you're on the northwest corner, I don't know, we think a gang controls that. If you're on the other corner, nobody controls it. So we don't really know what to do. It's not really anybody's jurisdiction.
It's brutal.
Pain in the ass.
I'm telling you what, that there needs to be some sort of plan to account for all these cars, because on Friday, man, how many of you guys get out early, by the way? Is that like a regular thing? Like, why is the traffic so much worse Friday at 2:30 than it is any other day of the week at 2:30? How are you guys getting out so early on Friday? You know, I get out at 7 p.m. on Friday. What's the deal there? I don't get it. I don't quite understand. 71307 is the number to get to us on the text line today. Texts are already chiming in. Everyone's favorite thing to do is to be on Team I Told You So. Mark, do you like your LIV Crow cooked medium or medium well? Brooks Koepka, let's go. Sir, you are guilty of premature speculation. Brooks Koepka is leading, and Brooks Koepka winning would be my nightmare. And it is happening right now, but there is a long way to go. And you know as well as I do that there's a good Brooks Koepka choke in there somewhere coming your way this weekend. You know that's coming this weekend, right?
Hey, even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes. Look, that Swing You documentary made him look like he was losing his faculties. It made him look like he was falling apart. And obviously that's not the case. I mean, everybody goes through professional slumps here and there, especially when the new crop of guys coming into the tour every single year are better than the new crop of guys that came in the year before. The great thing about golf is you can be a wily veteran and learn and beat these guys that may hit the ball a little bit farther than you do by being a more experienced golfer.
I gotta also give credit where it's due, Diesel. Before we firmly open here today, have you guys seen the video production that is out from Gamecock football? It is an office spoof. You know, they always open the office with somebody on the phone or somebody sitting in their office, and they're like, you know, they tell a story about office life, and then they show video. You know, I'm worried about our boss. I think he's taking things a little bit too personally, and then they'll cut to the boss and they'll show him struggling. The spoof that that Gamecock football has done using a speedometer on the road and the playoff of The Office. Have you seen this, Diesel? It's one of the best. It's one of the funniest freaking things I've seen. I think most of it translates via audio. And because of that, we're going to try to play that for you on the show today. It is freaking fantastic. And look, you know, like I had people say to me today, well, Mark, what are you doing? You're crediting the Gamecocks. Did Beamer apologize to you or something? My guy, Johnny Carrot, said that to me. He goes, don't be buddy now. How has he apologized yet? And it's like, brother, I don't live in a black and white world. I appreciate good and I criticize bad. The video department at USC is the best in the country. Appreciate greatness. That was an A+ level office bit. And if you want to see it, you can do two things. You can go to Gamecock Football's Twitter account, or you can go to my Twitter account. It's my most recent tweet there, and it is freaking awesome. Freaking awesome, man. Absolutely, positively incredible. So, folks, let us open with this. I didn't grow up with golf at all. In my life, I have never played 18 holes on an actual golf course. I set a goal this year that this would be the first year I do that. I need some basic lessons. When I was in a previous market, a listener gave me a set of clubs. It's in a really hideous bag called Big Bertha. I still have those clubs. I need to dust off some cobwebs on it. But I have never in my life played a full round of golf. I've played miniature golf. I've gone to putting ranges. Every once in a while I go to a golf simulator and I swing and miss a bunch of times. At least that's what I did inside the Clemson football offices last Media Olympics Day. I can't play. I don't know how to play. And I don't really fully know what club to use in each situation. I know off the tee, you use a driver. I know on the green, you use a putter, right? I know if you're in the sand, what do you probably use, a wedge, right? But I don't know the specifics about all of the things you do. I didn't grow up with it. My grandfather loved the majors, and he, when I was a kid, would make us watch the final couple rounds of the majors, and I found it to be the cure for insomnia. That was when I was a kid, right? It's funny how things change when you get older. The other day, I was yelling at a bunch of snot-nosed punks throwing Skittles at a truck. And then I stopped myself. And when I stopped the kids, I'm like, what are you doing? You throwing Skittles at somebody's truck? Man, that's not cool. Where's your mom? And they hit me back with a yes, ma'am. And then I realized that I was that kid throwing Skittles at a truck. There was one time I was at Disney World. I must have been 12 or 13 years old. It was raining, and I was blowing ketchup at people in a straw. Okay, I mean, like I have done things that I'm not proud of in my life, right? But as time has gone and as I have matured, golf is something that's becoming very, very interesting to me. You guys know this if you listen to the show, often root against Tiger Woods. Oftentimes I root against him. I think he is a great villain in sports. It's hard for me to root against him right now. It's hard because he is trying and he is laboring, and like rooting against Tiger Woods right now is like rooting for rooting against the kid in the wheelchair. Like I feel bad rooting against the kid in the wheelchair. That's what rooting against Tiger is like. At the same time, folks, I can tell you this right now with all certainty, and I'm going to look right into our camera on YouTube when I say this. Tiger Woods is done. You can take him out of the oven. He's done. He's cooked. He's finished. His leg, in his own words, feels worse this year than it did last year. Have you looked up what exactly happened to his leg? Have you considered the fact that his bones were sticking through his skin when he was found flipped over in his vehicle? Have you considered the amount of metal that has been required to piece that thing back together and what it feels like? I know many of you might, to have metal screwed into your bones and then moving around and then dealing with air pressure changes. Do any of you guys have like painful and aches and pains in your bones when like the pressure changes? Like it's changing today. And I badly broke a toe when I was in high school playing football. Every time there's a pressure change, that toe aches, right? Every single time. Imagine what freaking Tiger Woods' legs feels like when there's a pressure change like this, when the course is wet and he's in risk of slipping, when he's hobbling around here, there, and everywhere. Like, isn't there a part of you that has to really freaking admire that he's giving it a shot, that he's giving it his all? Isn't there a part of you that admires that? But I think he's done. I think he's cooked.
I do wonder if Tiger had just had that leg taken off and he got one of those bionic legs, the one that kind of looks like a sickle, kind of looks like a paperclip, if he might not be a better golfer because of it.
Who are you guys rooting for in the Masters? Who is your go-to guy?
I'm rooting for Po Lil Tink Tink.
I don't know who that is.
It's a stand-up comedy bit about Oscar Pistorius when he had to run in the Olympics and he had his two prosthetic legs. And who was it? Somebody help us out. Somebody in the audience knows what comedian that was off the top of their heads. But he did a bit about Oscar Pistorius and he called him poor little Tink Tink because that's the sound it makes when you run down the track with those metal legs.
I got you. Yeah.
Somebody on YouTube, somebody listening can text in 71307. Start your text with the word fan.
So Texter says, I love that Mark is squirming in his seat over the LIV players. I'm hoping one of them wins to stick it to the PGA. Give me Koepka or Hovland. So guys, why do you want to stick it to the PGA?
I think they want to stick it to you.
They can do that.
Yeah.
They can do that, but they'd be wrong.
Cat Williams, thank you, Texter.
They can be wrong, right? They can absolutely be wrong because, folks, you do realize who funded the LIV Tour. How does that not bother you?
I bet these people watch Rocky movies and root for Clubber Lang.
I mean, yeah. Like who roots? Seriously, who roots for the Saudis? Frankly, what did the PGA Tour do that is any different than language that I have in my contract? I just signed a new deal this week. You guys know about that. You know what it says in the contract? I cannot sign a deal with a competing entity in Greenville, Spartanburg for a period of a year. So if another local outfit was trying to hire me away, I could not leave here for that outfit in this market for a period of a year.
I've had friends in radio who have had to sit out that year. It is excruciating.
Yeah.
It is excruciating. And there's probably language in there regarding your ability to do audio podcasts or video podcasts or this or that or whatever. So you got to find something to do for a year because it's not like the new employer is going to pay you for that year.
Do you guys understand that the LIV Tour is an existential crisis to the PGA Tour and that your love of golf came from the PGA Tour? Are you missing this somewhere? Without the PGA Tour, there is no Tiger Woods. There is no you playing golf with your dad. There is no mini golf. Without PGA Tour, the PGA Tour, there is none of that. So how about some freaking appreciation? You spoiled brats, each and every one of you. How about some freaking appreciation?
This is why people want to see you dunked on, Mark.
Well, what about you? How do you feel about it?
I don't like it either.
Okay.
I vehemently dislike the players that have left the PGA for the money, for the Saudi money. There was a saying immediately following 9/11, never forget. And some people forgot real fast. And I can't get down with those people. And it's weird, Mark. We talked about I guess it was Wednesday, the last time you were here. This weird crossover over how some issues have been deemed left wing and some issues have been deemed right wing. But it's odd to me. There's people who are supporting LIV Golf who should be on the right wing side of things, meaning the fervently pro-American side of things, but LIV Golf is very much anti-American.
Yeah,
there's some hypocrisy there that I think that's what I always want to try to point out is the hypocrisy of people who support LIV. Honestly, because Donald Trump let him play at his course. But you're supporting something that's anti-American. I don't understand these people.
Yeah, guys, on some level, every single issue has been split down the lines in terms of a right and left viewpoint. But let me make this clear to you. To support LIV Golf is to support terrorists.
And this texter here says, I support the players. I support the league. I support competition in general. Texter, I don't know how you compartmentalize anti-American behavior away from sport and competition. I don't understand. I vehemently do not understand how you can compartmentalize the terrorist aspect of the Saudi regime away from the sport.
I do compartmentalize in terms of right, but not between right and left. I compartmentalize between right and wrong. I make decisions based on right and wrong. Okay. You guys realize that the Live Tour side is the terrorist side here. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Like, have you done the legwork? Have you read up about this? Okay, the same money that is used to fund this was used to fund 9/11. Do you know who Bob Costas is? Did you go up watching Bob Costas? He said it was blood money. So yeah, like, I'm not rooting for anybody who takes that money because it's dirty and because it's gross and because it's greedy.
And the same texture here says there's dirty money absolutely everywhere. But Texter, that doesn't mean you have to accept the dirty money. You were saying that you accept dirty money no matter where it comes from. I don't understand you. I don't understand how you can do that.
Yeah, no, I don't get it, guys. And look, as somebody else said, the PGA has had a monopoly for decades and decades and decades. Well, the NBA has had a monopoly for decades.
They've also made a lot of players incredibly wealthy.
And the NFL has had a monopoly for decades and decades and decades. And the NHL has had a monopoly for decades and decades and decades. And Major League Baseball, while we aren't the best baseball playing country in the world, we do have the best league. Brazil is the best soccer playing country in the world. They don't have the best league. Those two things can be mutually exclusive, right? So realize that the PGA Tour has been the best league. They've had a financial model that works for them. At its roots, you guys are just rooting for this nonsense because of Donald Trump. And I know it, and you know it. This isn't about the players. This is about your love for Donald Trump. Nothing more and nothing less. And I'm talking to you. And I'm talking to each and every one of you. Right here. 71307 on the text line is where you can get to us on the show. We will keep the conversation right here on the Masters, on how it's looking, on what's going on, and how this all ends for LT Gray. It's Offsides, Mark, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate. It's Offsides, Mark Ryan and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate, rolling on until 7 p.m. today. Full show on a Friday. Truly appreciate you being with us, no matter what side you're on, right? No matter what side you're on. You know, I think there's something amazing about pro golfers, and that is that like, it is the only sports where I know I have no chance in hell to be able to do what they're doing. You know, like I can watch Trent Richardson in the NFL looking blind out there, not able to see a massive hole that's right in front of him, and I can say, I could have made it through that hole. I could have gained more yards on that play than Trent Richardson did. I can watch Shaquille O'Neal brick free throw after ever-loving free throw. And I can say to myself, I could make that free throw. Maybe I could, maybe I couldn't. They had me shoot 10 free throws in front of about 1,000 people at that, and I can never remember the name of it. What is the Spartanburg downtown Thursday night thing called? It's awesome, by the way. What is that called when everyone congregates downtown Spartanburg Thursday night? Here in Greenville, it's called Downtown LIV. In Spartanburg, it has a different name. But I had to shoot 10 free throws, and I only made 3 with everybody watching. It's pretty pathetic. But I at least watched Shaquille O'Neal and say, I could have made that free throw. When I watch these golfers play, I'm like, I've got no chance to do any of this. And when you realize how many people attempt to play golf at a high level, and, you know, how many beer-bellied, middle-aged guys like myself try to get out there and look like they know what they're doing, you realize how really good these guys are. All right? Really.
Well, until you watch the YouTube videos where you see these pro golfers hitting really bad shots. Like, they don't put those on TV very often. And that's fun. You got to go watch YouTube. Like, you'll see Rory and Brooks and Tiger, even when Tiger was like on, you know, you'll see Phil, you'll see all the guys hitting just awful shots, shanking one into the woods. It happens.
You know, you think about Tiger Woods now, and I've opened today by saying I believe that he's done. I was looking it up today. I found that he has a 1% chance right now to beat Jack Nicklaus's majors, because the 1% chance is on his leg. And what's crazy is that when we got word that he got into the car accident, nobody thought that this was going to be the thing that did him in. You know, the stuff with his wife and the cheating and the sex addiction and the prescription drug addiction and the DUIs and everything that went along with that, the reckless living. None of that is what did him in, you know? But then after all of that, you know, smart people learn from their mistakes. Smarter people learn from others' mistakes. Tiger Woods didn't even learn from his own mistakes. You know, on a wet road, he's still whizzing around people, going way too fast, endangering everybody. And this is what did him in. You know, it was his reckless appetite that exhibited itself in a lot of ways in life, right? His reckless appetite with women, his reckless appetite for the disrespect of the covenant of marriage, his reckless appetite with driving. The compound fractures in his leg are what's doing him in. You know, the guy can't walk anymore. The guy is hobbled. You know, they don't allow you to use a cart to get around. If they were ever going to change that rule, they might change it for Tiger. But the fitness level required to walk 18 holes is considered part of the game. You know, Diesel, you and I have this sport or not sport debate a number of times. I don't remember where we came out on golf, but if you remove the walking element from golf, it's definitely not a sport. You got to walk hole to hole.
Yeah, well, you got to realize they're not only walking it 4 times, they're walking it 6 times because they're playing multiple practice rounds going into the tournament. They have to go and they have to get a feel for the course. They may even play a hole multiple times in a row to try to get a good feel for the hole before they go into the tournament. So these guys are playing 6 times. I don't know if they walk the first 2 times, you know. I doubt that they would try to just save their legs as much as they can, but I don't know the PGA's rules on that. It is not insignificant. It's definitely tougher when you walk 18 with a bag on your shoulders. I mean, that changes a lot too. So the caddy's got to do it as well. But so anybody who's like, well, I've walked a hole. Did you walk it with a cart? Did you walk it with your bag on your shoulders? Did you walk it with one of these bags that's more like a backpack that splits the weight equally between two shoulders?
So, yeah, and that's why Tiger Woods has to walk the course. And because he can't walk the course, he can't really play. Imagine for a moment trying to play a sport as intricate as golf, where 1 degree being off to the left or to the right changes the total accuracy of your swing, and then not being able to put even weight on both of your legs. Hell, guys, like I'm 45 years old. I just yesterday picked up a pair of custom orthotics for my feet because I'm losing the arch in my feet, and it's causing all sorts of problems with my back, my hip, everything like that, like compensation. And they're like, Mark, you balance your feet out, these other issues are going to go away. So here I am, like, I feel like a moron dropping $3 on orthotics for my feet that I now put in my shoes, and it recreates the arch that balances your body. One of those things, like those things don't exist for Tiger Woods.
Let's be real. Mark went and bought some Skechers, didn't you? You did, didn't you?
No. Yeah, I wish.
Nothing against the fine people at Skechers.
I wish it was that easy. I really wish it was that easy. Guys, how do you feel about the biggest event in golf being played first? Like, what is your general sense? What is your general feeling about
Well, they do the same thing with NASCAR. Daytona
Right.
500 leads the thing off. I don't think that's necessarily the best way to do it, but yeah, it's the way they do it. And maybe it's the biggest because it's the first one.
I hate it, these. I hate the biggest event in your sports happening first. And I realize Daytona does it with the Daytona 500, and I think that sucks.
But you also got to do it at a time of year where the course is at its tip-top shape. You know, this is late spring or early spring, and Augusta National is as good as it's going to look. They do it when the azaleas are in bloom. They do it before the course gets so insanely hot down in South Georgia that the grass has a hard time staying healthy. So there is a time constraint on when you could play this. And that's not to say that they couldn't have the course in immaculate shape at another time of the year, but you're also not going to have the azaleas blooming.
Trey Davis says, Mark, you can go to the driving range in Spartanburg. It's close to the Ingles that you did a show from. You can get a bucket of 130, 135 balls to practice hitting for $17. Get a friend to go with you.
You know what they say, Mark? Golf and sex are the only two things you don't have to be good at to enjoy.
I can't get the ball in the hole either one. I mean, that's my problem.
Well, if that's what you're trying to put in the hole, I think you're doing it wrong.
So anyway, guys, how do you feel about
This show got real dirty real fast.
How do you feel about the best event being first? You know, I don't like the Daytona 500 being first. I don't like the Masters being first. Was the best episode of Breaking Bad the first one?
Loved
No,
it.
wasn't.
I did love the first episode, though.
It was really good. When you go see a movie, is the best part of the movie, is the climax of the movie, sticking with the dirty theme of the second segment of the show today. Is that early in the movie or is it at the end? No, you build to that, right? You build to that. When you start with the Daytona 500, when you start with the Masters, everything is downhill from here, man, right? Like, is it just me? Like, I guess, I mean, I'm a contrarian by nature.
You're not putting a whole lot of stock in the U.S. Open, in the Players Championship, in the British Open. You're not giving those their due.
Play the Masters last. Play it last. You got to be willing to change history to make things better. You know, the NFL adapts to stay current. It moves the extra point back. It adds a 17th game because we don't need 4 preseason games. Major League Baseball, up until this year, was stuck in yesteryear. Their hits king and home run king have effectively been banished from the game. One adapts, one is left behind. Who is ahead of the other today in sports between Major League Baseball and the NFL? Which sport is ahead of the other? Folks, it's not even freaking close. It is not even freaking close. I mean, when we were growing up, again, I'm 45. When I was 15, Major League Baseball was even with the NFL. Football still football. Baseball still baseball. What happened? One entity had the mindset that, well, we're going to keep striving to improve. When we cease getting better, we cease being good. And the other entity, baseball, had the mindset of, no one's going to tell us what to do. We don't have to change for anybody. We're Major League Baseball. And the arrogance of that mindset got them left behind. You adapt with this. You change this. You move this. You don't play your biggest event first. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's anticlimactic. You know, oh, hey, golf is on again. Wait, it's the biggest event of the year. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that make sense to any of you? 71307 on the text line is where you can get to us on the show. I don't have, I really like John Rahm. I realize he's not American, but I really like who he is and what he's about. You know, the documentary Full Swing on Netflix really lets us get to know all these guys, right? They really let us get to know all these guys. And I appreciate getting to know all these guys. I value getting to know all these guys. I like Scotty Scheffler a lot. But for me, anyone but a LIV Golf terrorist money-taking loser winning is acceptable. By the way, programming note, I will be hosting on CBS Sports Radio tomorrow, all 5 hours of the national show on CBS Sports Radio will also be airing here locally on the Fan Upstate. And if you don't think I'm going to have the exact same take nationally on this that I do locally, you don't know me very well. You don't know me very well. You know, the best thing that folks can do is to disown, boycott, LIV Golf, disown, boycott the golfers taking part in that. It's the best thing they can do. You know, it's like, well, when do you forgive? When do you forgive other nations in our nation, in our country's history? When do you forgive Japan? Right? When do you do this? When do you do that? It was the worst terrorist attack on American soil in history, and they made it financially possible. Like, oh, guys, you know, this isn't 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon. This is 1 degree to murdering your American brothers and sisters. I don't know. Like, I don't consider that pearl clutching. I don't consider that sanctimonious. I don't consider that holier than thou. I consider that being a responsible American. Up next, we're going to debut a new segment we're calling Local Tap. That is on the flip side. Here on the show, that gives you both sides. It's Offsides, Mark Ryan and Diesel. And we are the Fan Upstate. Texter says, damn right, I'd take dirty money. The money is completely legal money, whether you like it or not. Y'all just got to get over it. But where is the line for you on dirty money? You know, you can shave your head, grow a goatee, put on a top hat, become Walter White, and manufacture meth. The money there is legal tender you can use as well. So where is the line on the money that you will use and accept?
I think he means accepting the money is legal.
Accepting the money is legal. Accepting the money, using money, accepting money, etc. It's all money. You know, how you get it matters, right? It matters. It's like it's an important thing. You know, like who you are as a person, who you are as a human being. It matters. I wish the Masters had kept all these guys out. I wish the majors had kept all these guys out. You know, they can exist on their exile island and have nobody watch them. Have you guys seen how poor the ratings are for LIV Golf? Literally, no one's watching this, man. Nobody's watching. 71307 on the text line is where you guys can get to us on the show today. Wanted to debut a new segment here we're going to call Local Tap. And it's a segment, and I want you guys to be able to know that, you know, like when you come to this show, you're going to get, you know, good local content as well as, you know, the hot things going around in our area. It's important to me to do that for you. And so we call this segment Local Tap. And so on Local Tap today, looking ahead at what is going on this weekend, Clemson and Florida State today in softball. In baseball today at 4 p.m., tomorrow at 11 a.m., quick turnaround. And Clemson lost the first game of this series. The word is, the feeling is that Clemson needs to win at least 2 of the 3 games in this series, or they're going to be in a position the rest of the way where they're having to sweep some teams that are flat better than them over the course of the season. Long story short is, this isn't looking like a postseason team right now. I don't think I'm breaking any news by sharing that with you, right? I don't think I'm reinventing the wheel by sharing that with you. But I do believe that, you know, it's look, a lot of improvement has to be made, and Eric Bakich is building this thing and growing this thing, and so there you go. I was wondering why my timeline had quieted down so much. And that is because, are you kidding me? LSU came all the way back and beat South Carolina. You know what was going on in my timeline a couple of hours ago? Let's run rule these idiots. You know, if you punk somebody by 10 runs plus right now in college baseball, you get the run rule. The game is over after the inning ends. South Carolina was winning this thing 4-0 early. Then South Carolina was winning this thing 7-3 in the 8th inning. It was like the Clemson South Carolina baseball game I went to. Clemson had that lead late in the game. LSU puts up a 5-spot the final 2 innings and takes the game over the Gamecocks 8-7. Then again, LSU is the number 1 team in the country, just 7-4 in SEC play. South Carolina is number 6, 9-2 in SEC play. But LSU comes to the Palmetto State and rallies late to get the victory. It was so crazy. Like, my timeline was filled with Gamecocks crowing and crowing and crowing. And then all of a sudden, you have the sound of a dying bird here. LSU comes back with a vengeance and takes a big one. I'm actually really surprised by this, folks. Really, really, really surprised by this. Texter says, Mark, I'm sorry, but accepting that money is generational and securing their families for the future period. I get why they did it.
These guys are already generationally rich.
That's exactly right.
These guys are already rich. Who was it? Was it which golfer was it who said, I made $16 million last year?
John Rahm.
John Rahm. And that was just last year. Guy's been a pro for a couple of years already. So The dude conceivably has 30, 40, 50 million dollars in the bank. Like, what difference does the X number of millions more you make on the LIV tour mean to him? And he's got to play a lot of his golf away from home.
Yeah, Texter, in your example, you're assuming that I, don't already have generational wealth, and I'm passing up opportunity to gain it. These guys are already in the top 99.999 percentile. Okay? And John Rahm said it himself. My life doesn't change at all if I make 16 million a year or 46 million a year. It doesn't change my life in any way, shape, or form at all, right? Doesn't affect his life. Also coming up this weekend, so we got Clemson and Florida State softball. Florida State has punked Clemson in softball the first two games of the series by a combined score of 11-1. The final game of this series tonight, McWhorter Stadium. Can Clemson get back on the right track? Clemson's been number 4 in the polls. Florida State is number 7. Look for that to reverse sooner rather than later, because Florida State has really made Clemson look like a team that hasn't played elite competition yet. Record of 37-1. Clemson's one loss before that was Tennessee, 1-0. Tennessee is also in the top 5. Also, Orlando Solar Bears 4-2 at the Greenville Swamp Rabbits tonight and tomorrow night. Greenville, the Swamp Rabbits, hanging on for that 4th and final playoff berth in their division. You've got Atlanta behind you. You've got the Solar Bears behind you. Top 4 in every division make the playoffs, and just 5 games remaining in the regular season. And then you have the Greenville Triumph at Tormenta. Greenville has just 1 game on the year played. The Triumph, they've lost that game 1-0. Tormenta is 1-2 on the season, but they're a traditional power in USL League One. So Greenville on the road at Tormenta as they look to get back on the winning side of things and get this season going off on a good stretch. So you got Clemson, Florida State baseball. You got Gamecock, LSU baseball. You got Clemson, Florida State softball. Clemson trying to avoid getting swept at home. The Swamp Rabbits vying for a playoff berth, and the Greenville Triumph playing their 2nd game of the season. All what's coming up this weekend on your local tap. There we go. But coming up next, our frequent and Friday and regular favorite guest on college football. It's never too early. It's never too late to talk some fantastic college football with you. The birthday boy, Brent Beard, will do that with us next, right here on Offsides. We are the Fan Upstate.
that you get right in here.
That's what it means to be an offsider. Are you bold enough for truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You can't handle the truth. This show is for you. Offsides with Mark Ryan.
This is
This is the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides. Mark Ryan and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate, rolling on until 7 p.m. today. Can I get an amen? 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM in Spartanburg, 1330 AM in Anderson and Clemson, and wherever you are on the Odyssey app. Also right now on YouTube at the Fan Upstate, looking straight into the camera, winking at you. Right now on our brand new, freshly
We're trying to
minted-
attract them. We're not trying to send them away.
I'm very good at sending people away, Diesel. I've been making women run away from me my entire life. That's who we are. That's what we do. Joining us right now on the show, folks, there are, I can count on one hand the number of people that have impacted my career as much as our next guest. I have a couple of mentors in this business, Owen Murphy, Chad Scott. Brent Beard has been coming on my radio shows since my very first radio show, and now a career that has spanned 17 and a half years. It is Brent Beard's birthday today, and I want to open it up to you guys on the text line right now. Special recognition for the best memory. I'm looking for, if you're a regular listener of this show, text us with your best Brent Beard memory, because he joins us on college football every single week at this time. Rain or shine, a lot more rain than shine lately around these parts these days. And he joins us right now on the show. Guys, what you also don't know is that Brent has been a tremendous friend to me. We don't just talk when he's on the air. We talk off the air. We text. He has been there for me in some of the most darkest times of my life. You guys know the story about, how I was high on the hog and living well and had the dream job in Tampa Bay and was engaged and have the house and have the puppy, and I lost all that in 8 months period of time. And Brent Beard was on the phone with me past midnight a number of nights, just helping walk me back on the ledge after that. And he joins us right now. He is our dear friend, Brent Beard, on the line. Hey, buddy, happy birthday to you. How are you doing? How are you feeling? We couldn't do it without you, sir.
Well, I appreciate that greatly. We are doing fine. I need to let you know off the bat that I am significantly younger than my identical twin brother,
Okay.
Brett, who has a birthday today too. So we need to spread the love to him a little bit and just kind of let you know where our status is. Okay.
So I want to let you know, Brent and Brett. I know Brett isn't on the line with us right now, but I want to let you know that you let me know, Brent, that you were going to be having a birthday today. I got a text from you yesterday, and he's like, Mark, can you believe it? My birthday is going to be Friday. So I was reaching out to Diesel today, and I was like, what can we do to honor Brent Beard? There were a couple of things that came to mind, Brent. One is going to come your way now. The other is going to come your way at the end of the interview. And we open it up with you guys again on the text line, 71307, your favorite Brent Beard memory. Put your name on it. You'll get special recognition. We'll share your Brent Beard favorite memories on the show today. But Brent, if it were my birthday, the favorite gift, the favorite experience I've had on any birthday I've ever had, okay, is my sister singing happy birthday, okay? Because she has got the greatest voice that I've ever heard in my life. So Brent Beard, if you can believe it right now, from New Hampshire, joining us on the line is my sister Grace to serenade you on your birthday. Grace, are you with us?
I'm so with you. I'm ready. Are you ready?
This is my sister Grace, ladies and gentlemen. I love her to Reese's Pieces, and we are going to be celebrating her 40th in a few weeks at the same Bryson City cabins that I got married at. And remember Grace, and see, like, her legal name is Allison, so it's hard for me not to call her Allie, but she likes to go by Grace now, which is her middle name. Diesel, remember, Grace, that Diesel reviewed your song the name of your song again, Allie?
I do.
What the name of that song? The song that he reviewed. What was it?
Earthbound Dreams.
Earthbound Dreams. He reviewed it recently on the air. Was very, very positive about it. So I am going to shut my pie hole and I'm going to get out of the way. And Brent, I'm going to just have you and the great million-plus people listening here in the upstate hear the most beautiful voice these ears have ever heard. Grace, the floor is yours.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brent and Brent. Happy birthday to you.
Well, that was outstanding. Outstanding. I was clapping. Clapping before you and Grace, let's you and I talk just a minute. We'll let Mark in a bit. First of all,
like
your name should be Amazing Grace.
Thank you.
And Grace, I see no reason why you shouldn't be the guest host when Mark can't be on the air. Is that too much to ask?
Well, to me, it sounds like the most terrifying job of all time. I'm not a big public speaker, but I will sing to you anytime you want. And I just wish you and your twin brother the happiest of birthdays in years to come.
Well, I appreciate that very much. And you're certainly a public singer. May not be a public speaker, but a public singer. That means something.
Oh, well, thank you so very much.
Easily one of the greatest moments on radio I've ever had.
Yeah, and Brent, it becomes obvious at this point who got the talent in the family, right? I mean, it becomes very, very, very obvious.
Yeah.
I piss people off all day long, and she brings people to. We both bring people to tears, but hers are tears of happiness, and mine is tears of anger. So that's what we do. That's the difference. Hey, sister, I love you so much, and cannot wait for you to be here beginning of next month and celebrating with you.
Love you too. Love you too, brother. I'm just going to get you later for telling everybody I'm 40, but other than that, love you, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, crap. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. You're not supposed to give the age. I forgot.
Now, is she true to her word? Will there be a got you moment when you're together next time?
Oh yeah, no, there's that. Now I'm gonna we do a family Zoom call on Sunday, Brent, and I'm gonna hear about that on the family Zoom call. She's gonna say, "Why did you tell everybody my age?" Honestly, when I was saying the age, there was a little birdie in my head that said, "You probably shouldn't be saying this. Probably shouldn't be saying."
Should just say my much younger sister.
My much younger sister. That's right. That's right. But
just like I'm much younger than my brother Brett. I understand that. She did a really good job. She could sing. She could. I don't know if she could sing for a living, but she could certainly sing.
Wait, how do we know for sure that we are talking to Brent? I mean, this is the first time we've had him on since April Fool's Day. Could Brent be April fooling us? Because he's told us that Brett sounds almost identical to him as well. So tell us something that only Brent would know.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if Brent would know about code word here. The three young women we talk about every now and then that their name ends in Y.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. And Brent, you would do wise to forget those names yourself. Okay. Okay. You would do very wise to forget those names yourself. I am a married man. I am a happily married man. And
I know you are.
I don't need your setting me up with fictional characters anymore around these parts. Brent, who is the most talented team in college football heading into this next season?
Oh, I would probably still say that it'd be Georgia. I think Bama's either tied with them or right behind them. I talked to a Georgia beat writer the other day, and when we got talking about the quarterback situation, and he made the point of, look, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. he's got so much talent around him, and on defense that they're going to be fine. And the other thing is, for your listeners, if you have not looked up Georgia's schedule yet for 2023, you need to do that, because even Georgia fans will agree that it's one of the easiest schedules in the nation.
Well, Brent, we spent some time earlier in the week talking about our three or four biggest question marks going into South Carolina and Clemson's spring game. Which SEC team that was pretty good last year do you see having the biggest question marks going into their spring game?
I'll give you one that might be a little bit surprising, and that'd be Mississippi State. Now, Mississippi State is not going to win the West, but they are a solid football team. And the reason I bring that up is Zach Arnett, the new coach, is going to change the offense. If people haven't heard, they're not going to run the air raid, or at least they're not going to run it as much as they used to with the late Mike Leach, who we still miss. So what does that mean with Will Rogers? I think part of it means that they will use their running backs more as running backs instead of as receivers. So that's one of the first teams that come to mind that probably a lot of people haven't thought about. And another thing that comes to mind, they play this weekend to play tomorrow, Jordan-Hare Stadium, would be Auburn, and kind of what Auburn is going to be under Hugh Freeze. I mean, Mark and Diesel, when you think even Auburn fans have multiple questions about what Freeze is going to do in his first year.
Brent Beard joining us, Heisman Trophy voter, First Coast News in Jacksonville, joining us here on the show today. Brent, along those same lines, okay, I want to talk about sleeping giants, right, in college sports. And there were a lot of folks that said, I think South Carolina could be a sleeping giant because of what Clemson did. If they get the right guy in there, which they look to have now, it looks like they could have a ton of success moving forward in the future. There's no doubt about it that that's true. But I was thinking about this today, Brent, and I was watching a 2.5-minute video about an endowment that Vanderbilt received for their athletics. Could they be a sleeping giant, Brent? I mean, if the city of Nashville, in its city, an up-and-coming city, if they got behind that team, could Vanderbilt become something? I have to think they told a coach of Clark Lee's stature something positive in terms of a commitment to get him to come to Vanderbilt.
Well, I think they have. As far as the facilities, would be the first thing. I mean, to their credit, they're making a real effort in order to revamp the stadium, the area around the stadium. So I don't think there's any question about that. A.J. Swan's our quarterback this year. I think he's a pretty decent quarterback. And listen, they frankly had a nice year. I mean, the win over Florida was big for them. I almost hate to bring that up, but it
Thanks,
was an
Brent.
example.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Happy birthday to you too.
Forgive me. It was, but that was just an example of maybe what they can do. Now, Florida's got the better program. There's no question about that. It was a difficult day for them. But no, I think there's some merit in what you're saying, and for them to improve that stadium, improve attendance, and get people excited, I think that's probably very possible.
Brent, who's doing the best with recruiting a freshman class and being able to develop a full freshman class in the SEC? Like, who's mining the portal the best at the moment, and who's really doing the best at recruiting young high school athletes?
Two of them that come to mind. One is LSU. That's certainly no surprise, because that's a good club. Brian Kelly can really coach. He can also really recruit. They've done a nice job also in the portal along the way. They're going to be people may be surprised at this. I don't think it's a surprise, but they very well may be picked to win the West over Alabama with the guys they've got coming back, including quarterback Jaden Daniels. We mentioned Auburn a minute ago. I think Auburn's done a good job. What an Auburn beat writer heard from him a little bit ago, he made a really interesting point. He said that at every practice at Auburn, they basically have a ton of recruits there. So they've gone all out. They know they've got to do it. They know they've got to revamp that offensive line that really has not been very good because they just haven't recruited that side of the ball well. So I think that's and I'm going to get off the Mark's bad list here. I think Florida is doing a nice job in recruiting so far. Heard Billy Napier Monday night. He was here in town at the Clay County Gator Club. Well received when he was there, and he was excited about the class that they've got. They got a 4-star quarterback, Austin Simmons, also a baseball prospect, just this week. So there may be more you want, but LSU, Auburn, and Florida are doing well too.
Brent Beard, Heisman Trophy voter, birthday boy, joining us here on the show today. Question from the text line. Question is for all three of you guys. What are realistic expectations for South Carolina this season? Brent, I'll let you go first.
I mean, with what they've done so far, particularly in November, I mean, is 9-3 impossible? I don't think so. I think they've made some progress. If they can, I think they're set now at quarterback. They can get a few more playmakers and get. I think if the defense improves significantly, and I think it probably will. I could. They're not going to win the East, but I could see them continue to make noise and continue to make progress. And that 9-3 would be a tremendous season, I think.
Diesel, what do you think?
To me, I need to see them win a minimum of 8 games again, and I need to see them sometime in this offseason. They need to be courting a top-level quarterback, and they need to show that they can recruit out of high school the top-level quarterbacks. Sure, you can get them on the transfer portal, and that's great, but I need to see them do it the old-fashioned way.
What are they capable of this year?
What are they capable of?
Yeah.
Eight wins should now be the floor of what South Carolina wants to do. I think they're very much capable of beating Clemson again this year, considering the game is in Columbia. I think they're capable of checking off a lot of those annual goals. I don't know if they'll hit all of them. That's a tough ask to ask any program to hit all of their stated goals every year. And you're kidding yourself if you think that Shane Beamer doesn't have beat Clemson circled on the schedule. He'll say it's just another game, but if he tells you that, he's lying. I think winning 8 regular season games is possible. Beating Clemson is possible. Getting to a bowl game is expected now, and winning another top-notch bowl game, I think it's all very possible.
Yeah, I would say that the goal is 9-3. You always set a lofty goal. Right. For example, Diesel and I last year, Brent, we hit a successful downloads number, but we set a really lofty downloads number this year, ratings number this year. And we don't know if we can hit it because it's higher than it was a year ago, but
significantly higher,
but it's a goal. So I think you set the mark of success at maintaining the 8-4 record because maintaining that, Brent, would be something that they couldn't do under Will Muschamp. Muschamp had a 9-4 year, couldn't maintain it. If you put back-to-back top 25 finishes together under Shane Beamer, you are now not just a blip. You're becoming a trend, and you're doing something consistently that previous regimes were not able to do. So 8-4 is success. 9-3 is the goal. 7-5 is disappointment. 6-6 is failure. That's what I say. What do you think?
Well, and particularly if you're around 8-4, 9-3, what that tells you is that they are knocking on the door of very possibly being the second place team in the East. So can they overcome? People are going to probably vote in the preseason poll in Nashville. They're probably going to have Georgia and then Tennessee. Would South Carolina be 3 or Kentucky? That'll be interesting to see. That's what it would mean to me, guys. What would be if they can, yes, as Diesel said, get to the at least 8-4, and you get a bounce or two to be 9-3 or merciful heavens 10-2. At that point, you're probably the second best team in the division.
Brent, being that it is your birthday, I want you to think back. I want you to think back to some of your childhood birthdays 20, 30 years ago, and tell me what's a memorable birthday gift that you remember receiving as a child that just sticks out to you. For me, it was when my parents bought me a ride around Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Richard Petty driving experience. Now, I didn't get to drive the car, but it also meant I got to go a little bit faster, like 25, 30 miles an hour faster, which was a blast. So what was that gift that really stands out to you from your childhood?
The first thing comes to mind is, and I bet Mark's dad probably might remember this because he may have got one. There was a little toy out a lifetime ago, and the name of it was Horrible Hamilton. It was like this beetle-like creature that you had a string in the back of it, and if you pull the string and set it on the floor, that it would go for a little while. It would actually walk, and then it had pinchers on its mouth, so they would open up and down. Now there are probably people laughing about that who are listening, but that was a toy of the year that time. Everybody wanted one. Brett and I both got one, so we were deliriously happy over that. So Horrible Hamilton, that looked like a beetle. That was and if you got one, you were the coolest kid on the block. How about that?
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Diesel, best gift all time, man. Yeah, like you. To me, Castle Grayskull, He-Man, that was kind of my era, so that was kind of the bomb for me.
I was gifted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tank.
Nice.
That was battery powered, that you would drop these little plastic discs in there and they look like pizzas, and the tank shot pizzas out of the tank.
That's incredible.
That might be the best gift I've ever gotten.
Incredible. Brent, before we let you go, we've got one more small gift for you. Okay, we've got one more small gift for you, and this little audio beauty is a blast from the past for all of us. Diesel, take it away. Brent, I'm running after that thing right now. I'm running after it right now with my change. That was the greatest sound known to man. Okay. And I couldn't believe how easy it was for me to find that today. It was so easy to find it. That conjures up memories of youthful warmth to everybody.
Look, if every ice cream truck doesn't have that in the playlist, that they should be out of business, shouldn't they?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Brent, we love you, my friend. Happy birthday to you and yours. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, man. We appreciate you so much.
And we are very grateful for Amazing Grace, and her birthday song today was well received.
All right, buddy. Happy Easter. Have a great weekend. Okay?
Happy Easter to you guys. Take care.
All right, take care. Brent Beard, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only. I think we talked less college football there with him than we've ever talked before, but I've never had more fun. All right, coming up next on the show, it is time for me to give you my all-time NBA starting five. My all-time NBA starting five. I'll reveal it to you next. This is the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides. Mark, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate.
Make the Fan Upstate a favorite.
It's Offsides, Mark, Ryan, and Diesel. We are the Fan Upstate. So you heard me say in our open today that I'm surprised by this because this particular organization hasn't earned a lot of trust with you, with me. But folks, by golly, it does appear that the Carolina Panthers, they still have time to screw this up, okay? But it does appear that they are coming to their senses on something that I was praying they would on. According to multiple sources, including Chris Mortensen, who said yesterday that he has a really good feeling of who the first overall pick in the NFL draft is going to be of the Carolina Panthers. Multiple, I'm told 3 high-ranking officers inside Carolina's offices, excuse me, actually prefer Bryce Young to CJ Stroud. Can I get an amen for that? Look, folks, you know the data just like I know the data. Short quarterbacks, traditionally, it's not that they can't be successful. Kyler Murray, when his head is screwed on right, is pretty good. Drew Brees was 5'11", 6 feet tall. Drew Brees was fantastic, right? Absolutely, positively fantastic. But since 2012, here are the heights of the quarterbacks who won the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, 6'2". Matt Stafford, 6'3". Tom Brady, 6'4". Patrick Mahomes, 6'2". Brady, 6'4". Nick Foles, 6'6". Peyton Manning, 6'5". Tom Brady, 6'4". Russell Wilson, 5'11". And Joe Flacco, 6'6". And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Mark, Russell Wilson was in there. He's 5'11". And Russell Wilson had the Legion of Boom. Okay? He had the Legion of Boom defense playing for him. This is why my overarching feeling about this draft pick continues to be disappointment that they mortgaged the farm to go up and get this pick. Because this is not, it was like they said, we've got to get a quarterback now. Not a single another year of losing. Scott Fitterer's job is on the line. I heard that on national radio when I was out yesterday. Dave Tepper is impatient. Yeah, Dave, but next year, there's 2 10-level prospects, Caleb Williams and Drake May. I was told by Russell Brown, an NFL analyst, that if Trevor Lawrence is a 10, the best we got this year is a 6.5. Despite all of that, what I can tell you is that in my opinion, Bryce Young is better than CJ Stroud. He's better at movement. He's better at anticipation. He's better at accuracy. He's better at arm talent. CJ Stroud is what he is, and I think CJ Stroud could be solid, but there is at least a shot that Bryce Young is special. You guys agree or disagree with this? Hit us on the text line with your pick for the Carolina Panthers at number 1. 71307 on the text line is where you can get to us.
Well, here's how you alleviate all those issues. You draft CJ Stroud. Like, you're there, right? You're already there. You can't say, oh, blow the thing up and start over and go get somebody else, because they're already there. They moved there for a reason. That's why you go get CJ Stroud. You get a bigger body. You get a lot of the same skill set. You get somebody who's going to be able to stand up to a little bit more punishment longer term. I don't understand. I mean, I get why you would want Bryce Young. He was phenomenal in college. I don't get why anyone would want Anthony Richardson, because he stunk in college. I want CJ Stroud. I've been saying CJ Stroud all along. Now, if something happened and you traded back to 2 or 3 and you couldn't get Stroud, then I think you're fine settling with Young. But I don't understand why Stroud isn't the darling here.
Well, I think, Diesel, if Carolina feels like Stroud is 90% of what Bryce Young is in terms of accuracy, anticipation, arm strength, playmaking ability, if he's 90%, they're going to go with Stroud because he's the bigger body. But what they're finding is he isn't that, right? So it's the bigger body, more durable versus the guy who's just got a better skill set, more more star quality. Let's see here. Spur Daddy lets us know LSU hit a grand slam in the 8th to tie it. The go-ahead run in the 9th. Gamecock relief pitchers walked LSU's leadoff hitter. They don't know when the third game of the series is going to be because of the weather that's coming in. Appreciate the update, Spur Daddy. Love you, brother. Texter JT and Greer says, Mark, I really liked how Brent shared his spiritual journey one time with us on the air. Texter says, Mark, your sister has a phenomenal voice. Does she sing for a living or openly in public? She does. She has been a music therapist, so she comes up with musical programs for sick people, people on hospice, and you actually see medical changes going on with new brain waves and synapses being formed, if you can believe that. And she's in a band, and she performs, and she went to Berklee College of Music on a scholarship.
It's funny. The type of music that I listen to usually severs a lot of brain synapses. Doesn't build many of them.
All right, up next, ladies and gentlemen. So when I was out yesterday, laid up, blanket on, I pulled up the phone, and I listened to each of the other 3 sports talk shows in this area. I listened to the competition. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, you always know I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you, honestly, my thoughts of what I heard next, right here, on the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides. Mark, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate.
Only on the Upstate.
So this is actually incredible, ladies and gentlemen. In the Upstate, in terms of sports talk radio, there's not one, not two, not three, but there are actually 4 afternoon drive sports talk radio shows. And I know, like, you guys live here, you don't have a reference point of comparison for what it's like to be in another market, but I do. Folks, Tampa Bay has 1 afternoon drive sports talk show. That's Tampa Bay. That's a market of about 3 million people. That's a top 16 market in America. They have 1 afternoon drive sports show. The upstate of South Carolina has 4. 4. Okay, now, there's no doubt, okay, which of those 4 is the best sports talk shows. That's not my opinion. You guys have told us that through ratings, through revenue, and through downloads, which is how each and every one of us are measured. And but out of sheer curiosity, okay, and we are so greatly appreciative for that. And I never want to talk about that without expressing our appreciation, because the fact that you guys have taken to the show, and those of you who are open-minded enough to enjoy a show that may not always be in line with your viewpoint, I can't put into words how much we appreciate how you guys have taken to the show. At the same token, like yesterday, I'm like, I'm just laying here, new drugs, trying to get over the sinus infection under a blanket. And I'm like, I'm going to listen to the other sports talk shows in this area. I'm going to listen to them. And what I can tell you after I had that experience, ladies and gentlemen, is I am so sorry that I missed yesterday and I did that to you. I'm so sorry I missed yesterday and I did that to you. And we had to make it so that you had to listen to some of that other stuff. I'm so sorry. Diesel is perfectly capable of holding down the fort, but we didn't have a second person with Diesel to have Diesel be able to be a host yesterday. So we ended up going national. And Maggie and Perloff is a fine show. Okay, it's a fine national show, CBS Sports Radio. But here's what I found, and I will give you some specifics here. I can't.
You got a horn back there you're going to toot well as we go through this process?
Yeah, Diesel, it was painful to me. Have you ever listened to some of this other stuff?
No, I haven't. I'm always here.
Have you listened to it? So, so I can't say station names, ladies and gentlemen, but if you were flipping around yesterday, listening to some of the other stuff going on, you'll know what stations I'm talking about. There was one station, which is the Homer station, and they had no local show on yesterday. Like we had no local show on yesterday because I was sick, and I was like, I wonder if the Homer station host is sick, because they had a national show on as well. Then I turned on the Homer station this morning, and they had a national show on again. So I don't know what's going on there. Okay, like I don't understand what's happening with their programming. Like is everybody out over there? Did everyone take a vacation? Like I don't know what's going on, but they had national shows during afternoon drive yesterday, and they had national shows during morning drive and midday today. That is the Clemson Homer station. Then there's 2 other stations, one like based in the upstate, and Diesel, I kid you not, man. One of them, their question of the day was, name your Mount Rushmore of golf. And every 10 minutes, they kept doing that. Every 10 minutes, they kept going back to question of the day, what is your Mount Rushmore for golf? And I'm like, this is what you're doing? Like, this is the best topic that you have? And not only that, but they ended up taking callers on multiple times in the same show. So like a caller would call in like Jeff from Abbeville, and then an hour later they'd take a call from Jeff from Abbeville again.
And I'm like, I've never even heard of that.
It's cool that Jeff's still listening and all, but
Yeah, no, it's not. No
we
hate
don't,
against
we don't
Jeff,
bring you
but-
on multiple times. in
But
the
that's
same
like
day.
violating every major rule of broadcasting. The other show on that station that I heard had a really good guest on, Ian Eagle, but the other two segments of the hour were really bad, actually, and nothing compelling, and no strong opinions, and nothing good. So, like, the highlight of everything I heard was that there was an interview with Ian Eagle, but nothing else I heard was any good. And then there was one other station, and this is actually the smallest of the competitors. And I actually thought, Diesel, they did the best job. You know, their host was just a guy talking sports. He was talking Braves. He was talking Masters. But at least he was talking about what was going on. The national show on the Clemson Homer station had 30 minutes of talk about Cam Newton saying that he's willing to be a backup. And I'm like, is this a topic still? Like 30 minutes? Is Cam Newton still viable enough to be worth 30 minutes of airtime? It was a national show, but it was on the Clemson Homer station. The other competitor here was, who is on your golf Mount Rushmore? Every 10 minutes, who is on your golf Mount Rushmore? And I was like, take an ice pick and jam it in my retina.
Well, Mark, clearly they don't do what it is we do here on this station. We're number one, you have to have strong opinions. Number two, you have to be willing to assess what works and what doesn't, and use that to inform what it is you're going to talk about on future shows. So you can try a topic, but if nobody's interested in it, if nobody's texting you, if nobody's calling you, if it doesn't get downloads on the podcast, if when you post it on social media, nobody responds to it, that is a very clear, as the kids say, red flag. Don't talk about this anymore. Like, your audience does not care. And some people don't have the ability to do that. It's an ego thing. Maybe it's a fear of, like, this is something I know a little bit about, so I feel like I can talk about it with some authority and some knowledge. So maybe they'll get into it just like I am. But no, you have to be willing to go where the audience is, and you have to know what it is they're going to respond to.
So, scale of 1 to 10, here's what I heard. The smallest station, I would give a 5. Okay. The Cam Newton conversation for half an hour, scale of 1 to 10, that was a 3. And the other show, what is your golf Mount Rushmore? A scale of 1 to 10, that's a 2. That is I have nothing else, and bottom of the barrel, and I'm sorry, but I didn't do prep today. And all I could say, being at home and listening to that, was, I'm sorry I wasn't here for you guys. I'm sorry I couldn't be here for you guys yesterday. I'm sorry I let you down because I couldn't be here, because I never want to subject you to any of that again, ever again. So sorry. Let's get to Nelson, who has been hanging patiently on. Okay, Nelson has left us. Okay. All right. Nelson, if you want to chime in, you can get back with us. 844-FAN phone. That's 844-326-3663. We've got the top 5 at 5 coming your way next. This is the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides, Mark, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate.
Okay, YouTube stream. That's going to do it for us today. 2 hours every day. That's what we're doing here on the show. Then we cut it off. We make you listen the old-fashioned way, over the air, or on the website, or on the app. Actually, that's not really the old-fashioned way. We give you lots of ways to listen to the show.
You guys have an awesome weekend. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Click subscribe.
Yes, please do subscribe. Love you. Appreciate you.